Hi, I'm Lindy Earl, and we're here today to talk about friend zoning. I've been divorced for several years after a 25-year marriage. I have 3 children. In the corporate world, I was vice president of marketing. I was a college professor. I'm currently a columnist for Georgia News Daily. You can find articles on relationships under my name, Lindy Earl, at georgianewsdaily.com. And today I'm with my friend Steve Evans. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Lindy. Glad to be here.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I also was married for about 25 years. Been divorced going on 6 years now. I have 2 children, a 25-year-old son and 22-year-old daughter. And I'm currently a financial analyst for a large company based in Atlanta.
There you go. But we're here about relationships, and today's topic is friend zoning. Now, friend zoning is when 2 people meet and one of them is interested in the other, but for several reasons, which we'll discuss, both people don't feel the same way. So one has been put in the friend zone. We are going to be friends only. That's it. Has this happened to you, Steve?
Yes, it has. More times than I would like to admit. It doesn't feel good sometimes, but oftentimes, though, it works out, for the best in the end, I think.
Yes. I remember, now for me, it's happened in both directions. I have friend zoned guys, and I have been friend zoned by guys. And the times I have friend zoned guys, it's often because the timing was wrong. And we'll talk about that more later. But specifically, you friend zone a guy if you think they're just not ready, they're still hung up on their last girlfriend. Similar reasons for guys?
Yes, very much so. And I also have been on that end where I have friends on women. And most of the time it's because the timing wasn't right, or that I started a relationship with somebody else that I thought was going to be a good dating relationship, even though I was casually seeing other people as well. And then I felt I had friends on them.
Right. And so I remember one guy, it was a dating site, and I learned after the fact that he had sent the same message to 50 women.
That's unbelievable.
And he said that he was shocked at how many responses he got. So what he did was go down the list and chatted with us. And in my case, he actually was talking to me in our first conversation once we got from messaging to texting to phone conversation. He was talking to me in our first conversation on his way to another date. And then suddenly I thought he ghosted me. Now, have you ever been ghosted? This is not friend zoning.
Yes, I have. I've been ghosted before, and it doesn't feel too good.
Now tell us what ghosting is first.
Ghosting is where you've been having active communication with this person, maybe even dating them for a little bit, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, they just disappear. They stop answering your calls. They don't text you back. They don't answer your emails. It's just like they completely disappeared off the earth.
Right.
And it's not a good feeling because it leaves you with a sense of like, why are they treating me this way? Why can't they be honest with me and just tell me, look, I don't want a relationship. Just don't completely drop me.
Or, what have I done wrong?
Exactly.
So that's what I thought was happening with this gentleman, is I thought, he was done with me. And then suddenly he shows back up. And it turns out that he was going through his list and he had friend zoned me. But the important part of friend zoning is the communication.
Yes. I'd much rather somebody be upfront and honest with me and tell me, when we're going into the friend zone. I have dated, several women several times, and they will finally look at me and say, I like you. You're a very nice guy, and I hate that because I know what's coming next. And they're basically telling me, you're going into the friend zone.
Right. It's the equivalent of we need to talk.
Right.
As soon as you hear that, you know what's coming next.
And once you enter the friend zone, that's basically it. It's over.
And I agree that it should be. I think this is different. Being friend zoned is not the same as a relationship developing between two great friends. That's often years, ongoing before, and then they suddenly look at each other and go, "What? You're my best friend. We should date." That's not what's happening here. So I agree with you, Steve. I think when you're friend zoned, you need to accept your position as the friend and really enjoy it. And this is the best part of what you're going to hear today. There are some great benefits
Yes,
to
I
being
agree.
friend zoned. What do you like about it?
One of the best things I like about it is that um, I still like to, maintain some type of contact with them and just ask them from time to time how they're doing. If they want to respond, that's fine. And there are some that I've been friend zoned that will call me up sometimes and say, "Hey, do you have any plans tonight? I'd really like to go to this dinner, but I don't want to go by myself." And so, I'll be their escort for that night, for the dinner, that is.
No,
Um,
exactly. A ready-made, no pressure date.
mhm.
And it can be for an event that, hey, I have to attend this wedding. I have a work event. Wonderful for that. There's no warnings, no alarm bells about, oh my gosh, is he going to misunderstand? You already know that he knows his manners because you wouldn't have, been with him in the past if that hadn't been true. So there aren't any surprises, and you're going in with pure.
And there's no expectations there either. And so, you are just now friends, and you don't have any expectations about going out with them that night or
Right.
anything.
Another benefit that I really like about friend zoning and being friend zoned is I'm much more honest and free with
Yes,
a friend.
exactly. I agree.
So I was dating this guy a couple years ago, and we decided to just be friends. And he had me over for a football game because sports manic over here. And so we went to the grocery store to get the football food.
Yeah.
And when we were dating, when he said, "What do you want to eat?" I would have said, "Oh, anything is fine." And I was just so understanding. I don't know why. This is so backwards. Women, I do not recommend this. But now that we were just friends, he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want chicken fingers and chicken wings, and I want this kind of dip." And I had no problem.
Exactly.
I mean, just a great open freedom and honesty because we were just friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to be polite and concerned and what is he going to think. Friend zoning is a very comfortable place.
Yes, it is. And Lindy, you and I have had that experience as well.
Yes, we did.
I first met Lindy for a date, and we dated for several weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
And then this is an event where timing didn't work out too well either because I was getting ready to go on a cruise, and then I got sick and was hospitalized, but that's another story. And in the meantime, Lindy had ghosted me.
I did. Yeah, I did.
But that's okay. But once again, as one of the benefits that she suggested is that we're back as being really good friends now, and there's a feeling of being able that feeling of freedom of being able to talk about anything you want to talk about without offending somebody, her, or going out to eat without any of that pressure that you might have as a date.
It's
And
really it's an enjoyable friendship.
Yeah.
And yes, I do apologize for friend zoning, for ghosting.
Oh.
But what happened is you did have to disappear.
Yes.
And I knew that, and I'd already decided that while you were gone, I decided I wasn't interested.
Yes.
And it just was so easy to not respond at that point since we'd already had a couple weeks off. But it would have been better.
But now I see Lindy as a very good friend. And
Yeah.
So that's one of the good benefits once again.
Another benefit of friend zoning, because it's cross-gender, is you have somebody you can talk to about the other people you're dating. So when Steve goes through a breakup, I get to hear about it. And I get to either support him and say, "You're too good for her," which is, of course, what I always say.
Yes.
Sure.
And you've been perfectly honest with me through this.
Right. And I honestly think if you treated a girl poorly, I'd like to think that you would be mature enough and I would be honest enough to say, "Oh, no, Steve, she really wasn't wrong this time."
Yeah.
Now, the last girl, it's okay. You can do better.
Thank you.
Okay. So other reasons for for friend zoning. One of them goes back to our teen years,
Mm-hmm.
and our teen years happened at the same time, even though we were hundreds of miles apart. Men in the olden days were very slow on the uptake.
Yes, and still are.
See, I remember that we, as 17 and 18-year-old girls, would get very interested in a guy, and the guys just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And we're like waiting for them. I mean, it could have been as simple as asking us to dance.
Yes.
And they wouldn't even do that. And then by the time they caught on and they were asking us out, we had moved on to 2 more crushes by then.
Exactly.
So does that get any better with age?
Yes, it does, because you go through a maturing process. But I was exactly that kind of guy as a teenager. Um, I was too shy to ever date in high school. I couldn't even talk to a girl with a straight face without, wanting to run the other way.
Okay, so wait. So what we thought was just slow on the uptake, you're saying was shyness, at least some of the cases.
In mine, it was shyness and fear of rejection.
Excellent reasons.
And so fear of rejection is a big one for guys. And so a lot of times that's one of the reasons they're kind of slow, is because they fear that rejection. But I've had many girls that I went to high school with since then at reunions or different events where we've gotten together, who have said, why didn't you ever ask me out in high school? Said, I gave you all kinds of hints, but they just went way over your head or something. And I said, I was just too shy.
I remember feeling the same way. But the gentlemen I dated, especially in college, I don't have a lot to do with them anymore. But the guys with whom I was just friends, I remain friends with many of them to this day.
Oh.
So one of the benefits of friend zoning is a really great long-term relationship.
Yes.
And because there has just been this great friendship, the significant others don't feel any threat. It's like, no, this is Lindy from college.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And the fact that, matter of fact, in one case, the guy came to me and asked for advice on how to propose to his girlfriend.
Oh.
And they're still married. So that's really, it's like, okay, I'm really safe if I'm the reason that he knew to give you flowers that day. So, so there's some really great benefits of friend zoning. Touch is one of them.
Yes.
It's really great when you're just friends with somebody and they're not in another relationship. You can walk hand in hand. You can, touch them. You can, how you doing? You get great hugs. Yeah. And humans really do need
exactly
physical touch. And again, to your point earlier, perfectly safe, all good.
Right, because you don't have to have that fear of intimacy or somebody else thinking, well, what did that touch mean? Misunderstanding. And so.
No, so very, very safe. So, okay, so we've agreed today that friend zoning is better than ghosting, no question.
Yes.
We've agreed there are a lot of reasons for friend zoning, and sometimes it could be shyness. Sometimes, I think the biggest one is timing. Yeah. It's just one or the other of you are just not at the right place. Either you've just been through a breakup, or you're just, sometimes we really are working on our careers.
Yes, exactly.
And, yeah. Another one we didn't discuss, but I'll throw out here at the end, is distance.
Yes.
There are definitely people I have chosen to friend zone because I just don't want to date somebody out of town. I just find distance a real challenge. But there are great benefits.
Oh, yes. I agree.
So, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was great talking to you. I will say, never ghost anyone, but definitely a direct approach to friend zoning is a positive thing. I'm Lindy Earle, and that's dating after divorce.